Where is your mom?
My mom lives in Pennsylvania right now.
Okay. Is there some? When was the last time you had a dinner with her?
I didn't.
You did like what do you mean you
You never
didn't?
As an
had.
Like you never
adult,
have
no.
as an adult?
Or even as a child.
Okay. Can we have more? Can you elaborate more on that?
Um,
Like, were you not close to her growing up or as an adult?
so you can have your mother physical. So when I was born in Dominican Republic, so like in on most islands, my mom had me, and I was the last of four. When I was born, she left and came to the United States, of course, like everybody, to make a better life, to make life for us, to work, to get us here. So I was born, and then she was able to bring us here when I was 6 years old. So then I was with her from the age of six. Then when I was 16 and I had my son, life was hit, and my mom went through a lot. Um, my mom had a lot of mental situation, not like crazy, but now that I'm a grown up, it was mental, and it's just because of the environment coming to here, being a immigrant mother working. Then my brothers drove her crazy, especially my oldest brother that now is a Christian. Um, it was a it was a lot of trauma. And again, I was the youngest of four. My oldest brother, I think he's don't quote me. I'm sorry, Carlos. 47. My second oldest brother is 46, and then my sister's 45, and I'm 40. So I always make a joke and say I was the mistake. Not the mistake, but the oops, it happened. Um, but my oldest brother took her through a lot. Being here, being not even immigrant. One thing my mom did do is by the time I got here, I was a citizen. My mom did what she had to do. From the second I got here, I had no excuses but to thrive because she did something and had something ready for me that a lot of people till this day don't have. So I was a citizen when I got here. I have no excuses for not having jobs or anything like that. But she went through a lot in her life, and as I'm learning now, her growing up wasn't easy. Her mom wasn't what I want her to be to me. So how would she know to do that for me? Um, we left Brooklyn. We got here when I was six. We left here to Miami when I was 14. Then I got pregnant at 16. A month after I had my son, she went through like a psychosis because of situations with my brother, with the gangs here. Somebody got killed in front of him, and that traumatized her. She felt like she used to see the guys in Miami. So she went through like a psychosis situation. Like I was pregnant, used to take her to the hospital when she would be going through these things. They're telling me my mom is crazy. I'm trying to fight the nurses. My mama ain't crazy. What you talking about? But it was like a mental breakdown. So she just one day got up. I had just had my son, and she was like, I'm leaving. I said, what you mean you leaving? I just had a baby. Like, the dad is here. Like, I can't leave. And she just got up and left, you know? She said, you come in? And I was like, nah, I can't do that. I didn't have my father in my life. I'm not doing that to my child. And it's a boy, So she left. So I literally had my mother in my life 10 years of my life. I'm 40 now.
So when she left, she went to Pennsylvania.
She went to Pennsylvania, then she moved to Puerto Rico, then she it's all over the place. And my mom also, which is something that I fight and I'm very aware of, she's love bomb. Like when she love a man, and everything else is just it's all about this man. I've asked my mother plenty of times, can let me take you to dinner? Like want to do these things that you want to do with your mother, but she just and again, I don't think it's out of she doesn't even realize the effects that it has on me as a woman and as a mother. But I also learned a lot. I learned the things that I didn't want to do to my children, but that's one of the things. So that was a very like I've always like, Mom, let me take you out to dinner, or let's oh no, I'm just gonna sit here. Oh no, because of this, or no, because of that. Mom, let me fly you in for Thanksgiving. Oh, my husband and his kids are this. So a
So
lot of
she's
that.
married. She has family. She's with family.
Yeah, I guess. It ain't her blood family though.
Uh, right.
So it's like she's given them what you didn't give to your kids. So my kids don't know my mom like that. But she's raising other.
Why don't you just
But
pull up on her?
have they met her
Yeah,
before?
yeah. Of course. I made sure, but it's hard to try to get someone to understand
Or connect.
or connect. So at this space I just love her where she's at. I'm like, if you're happy, I'm happy. And I'm a grown up, and people say, I don't like when people say, "Oh, you can't hold on to what your parents did," and that no, you can, but it's how you choose to deal with it. Like I use that pain and I use that trauma to make me a better person, to make me be a better parent to my child, to be a better friend, a better sister, a better. But again, I don't think my mother is doing it consciously. She just didn't have that. So how she's gonna know to give it? And unfortunately, I'm fortunate to be able to realize and understand those things. She come from back in the days, they're set in certain ways that they don't know how to evolve or adjust with life or what's going on. She don't know nothing about no therapy. I went to therapy. I was able to heal everything in therapy and understand that everything happens for a purpose and a reason. I wouldn't be as strong as I am. I wouldn't be able to have overcome so many obstacles that I've overcome. Maybe if I was up under her all the time, or if I got, I'm a strong ass woman. I'm so strong. I am so strong. I'm strong right now talking about this and I'm not crying. That means therapy worked, because before
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to speak about my mother without shedding a tear. But through therapy, it helped me understand a lot of things. So I love her. She's my hero, regardless of anything, because, like I said, now that I know and I understand our background more, and her relationship with her mother, my mom was beautiful. My mom was she's still beautiful, but my mom was beautiful. So I know it was a little hate there from her, you know, other
Mother
siblings.
daughter. Oh,
Yeah. And she's the sweetest person in the world. She's me. So a lot of times I try to, nope, because people took advantage of my mom because of that. Look, nope. When I fall in love with a man, that's what I was saying. Like every relationship I had, I've walked away from, because when I start losing myself for this person, I'm like, I'm not gonna be this. This is nope. I can't do this. I'd rather just walk away before it affects me where I can't even be good for you as a woman.
losing yourself in a negative way.
Yeah, in a negative way where you stop thinking about what's good for you because you're just trying to be everything for that person.
Understand? Understood. But my question is, you clearly don't hold any animosity.
No,
Well, I say clearly from my own perspective, don't hold any animosity towards her, or whatever decisions that she did make or didn't make. Um, why? I'm not saying that you haven't, but so I'm not assuming. But why don't you just take the initiative and just pull up on her?
I've have.
Okay, and that doesn't transpire well. Assuming.
I mean, it's never no. I've bought flights for her to come for, and she's canceled last minute. I've gone there like, let's go out to dinner. Oh no, my husband. Like she's a very you know.
Why don't you just have dinner at her house? I'm saying, like
I
inside.
did. I
Okay,
did.
yeah.
So it was so funny. My son, when he graduated from high school, he, of course, his grades wasn't where they were supposed to be, and he really had a dream of playing football. So as a mother, I'm like, we're gonna make this happen. You don't need no scholarship. I pick up 4 jobs if I have to. So I brought him to a combine here in Jersey, actually, and he was picked up by Wilkes-Barre University. And it just so happened that that's the school that picked him. We went to go do the tour. My mom lived 30 minutes away from the school.
Really?
That was crazy to me.
I went to Wilkes-Barre.
You did?
Yeah, for 1 semester.
My son went for 2 semesters. He was like, "Ma, this
Mm-mm.
ain't it. This ain't it." But my
Crazy.
mom happened to be 30 minutes away. So in that moment, she took the opportunity to try to be there for my son. So she'll call me like, I'm calling William because I want to take him. I'm trying to take him food. And she cooked for him and stuff like that. So she got to in that moment. And I had no idea that she lived 30 minutes because she lived in Hazelton, Pennsylvania, and Wilkes. It's right there.
Yeah.
So she got that chance to be able to be a grandmother to my son and things like that. So when I'll go visit, we'll go to her house. But then again, she's with her husband and his kids and their kids. So sometimes being there was for me just like,
Do you not like or respect her husband? Is
um,
there an issue
I
there?
have no reason to dislike him or disrespect him because he didn't do nothing to me, but I don't know
You
him.
just don't know him.
You
Yeah.
know,
Do you
I
want
don't
it?
know him. I'm gonna always be respectful,
Yeah. But like, I'm saying that in the sense of like, so how I'm reading it is, and I could be reading it wrong, that this is a person that I don't know, and a person that I'm also not really willing to connect with. Now I could be wrong, but which leads to my question of why don't you just connect with him if that's something that your mom is kind of like tied into very deeply, and that might give you more access to, I guess, that family dynamic.
Let me ask you a question. Well, let me answer with asking a question. If
I
you're with a
hate that, by the
woman,
way.
right, and she have children, she has no relationship with her kids, she doesn't make the effort to make sure to invite them to do any or to bring her grandkids to get to know her grandkids. As a man that love that woman, what are you gonna do?
Wait, can you ask the question from the top? From the top?
So if you're with a woman
Yeah.
and you notice that this woman doesn't have a relationship with her kids or her grandkids or anything like that, would you not encourage that woman to or do something to make that happen?
Is that woman my mother?
No,
You're
you're
dating
woman,
them.
you're dating, you're married to this woman.
I mean, I would encourage, of course, but I cannot force. Um, Especially if that's a situation that I technically have no obligations to.
My mom is the most submissive woman in the world. Come for Thanksgiving. Oh, I can't because I got to see my husband. I got to ask my husband. I got to see what my husband says. I
Well,
have to.
No, I understand that. I'm not saying that she isn't. What I'm saying is sometimes it's like if I know that somebody's um incapable of making the decision that I want them to make in terms of just, I guess, like family orientations and family gatherings, me personally, I'll take the initiative and I would try to be there. Now, of course, obviously, if I'm getting shut down, that's not going to be the case. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just keep putting my head on a chopping block.
Mhm.
So the place that I'm coming from, and I'm
He's never contacted me. He's never hit me. He's never said, you know what I want to do. And I know with my for my mother, if he would
yeah.
lead and we're doing Thanksgiving, invite your kids, come, let's do this. My mom would be with it.
Do you think that he doesn't like you?
I don't think that he doesn't like us. I don't know him to tell you what he thinks. So I don't know any. I didn't even know she got married.
So how long have they been married?
It's been over a decade now.
You didn't even know she got married. She
Yeah.
probably don't talk about her kids that much.
But yet, when I'm speaking to her, she has a baby in her hand, and I sat here in this world
She
for
had another
23.
child?
No, her husband's daughters and
Okay.
So she's playing
kids.
grandma
So
to
she's
somebody else.
and my kids barely know her. And again, it's not talking down on my mother. She's the most beautiful person in the world. She's such a good person, but sometimes you're such a good person and you're trying to be everything for someone that you lose sight of other things around you as a woman. And I'm because I can't speak for men, but as women, we lose ourselves a lot
I think
trying to be everything for someone else.
I think there's an element that we may not be touching on in situations like this, which is like shame. And I'm not saying your mother is ashamed of anything. I'm saying that's a lot of shame that may have built up to where
Mhm.
she can't get past that, or she doesn't know how to
Mhm.
take that step.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the part you're maybe something like reaching at,
Mm-hmm.
but that could be a factor
Yeah.
that you have to consider.
I ain't say I don't want to get married. I'm not looking like that's not something I'm like meet a person like, is this my husband? I want this to be my husband. Like I'm okay with just having a life partner. I don't want the government, I don't want the country to dictate what me and this person are gonna be. You know what I'm saying? People sometimes grow out of love and it's just the right thing to just part ways. I don't want to have to pay the attorney and pay, I like once that come into play, I think that affects the relationship as a whole.
Do you think that thought process happened the older you got and you saw maybe other
Well,
relationships not work out?
my only experience or vision or like of marriage has been like either my friend got married. I cried more than my friend when she got divorced because I just thought this was like the. And I'm like, wait, what happened? Yeah, I used to sleep in different rooms. Why? Wait, you cheated with who? Why did you cheat on this man? Like, and she's actually a therapist. And when she broke it down to me, I'm just like, you know what?
I knew.
And y'all,
Rico, you
I'm
were a
trying to
little
tell
bit
y'all,
too
one
predictable,
day,
bro.
listen to me, one day in 500 years from now, you're going to rewind all the clips that I've put together on 8 at the Table, and it's going to help you.
Wait, loop
It's
me
gonna be
in.
not-
What
it's gonna help
happened?
you.
Or it'll harm you
No,
because because
happened?
It's going to help your kids
I think you're
because
just
y'all don't want to
avoiding it.
listen to me in the time being. But it's all right. All the greats get appreciated when they're gone. Carry on.
Loop me in. I'm lost.
So
The head turn said
I'm
it
pro
all.
therapy.
I hope you caught all
I'm
of
like
that.
pro therapy,
Like-
pro mental health, and ever since I met Rico, ever since I've known
Same.
Rico, it's pure like therapy is not the devil. You don't think it's the
That's
devil.
wild crazy. Now you see what I'm saying?
But I'm saying you just aren't into therapy.
I'm
you
pro
don't believe in
therapy.
it.
I am
Therapy
not
helped
an
me a lot.
advocate for therapy as much as people make it out to be. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work for
I
some.
wouldn't be sitting here right now if I didn't have the therapy session.
Again,
that I had.
some people do need it, but now when we have people who think that everyone needs it, I think that's when it goes crazy. Like it's literally crazy, and I honestly feel personally, we're not gonna go off on a tangent here, but therapy is necessary for some, right? But therapy also takes away the ability to actually have, I believe self therapy is more important, and I feel like that's been lost over the last 25 years. And that's why so many people need outside sources to tell about their inside problems.
Self therapy.
Yeah, like yes, self healing, your self journey, recognizing yourself, understanding yourself. Literally, we kind of had a little bit of a moment in our last segment earlier today. And those key ingredients of understanding why you believe what you believe, how'd you get to what you believe, and who maybe even taught them, right? Then you can understand what really is for you or what was adapted by you or accepted by you. And these are all different questions that you need to ask yourself on a day-to-day basis, which ultimately becomes the adult that you look in the mirror to every day. But no one does the work.
Some people are not in the mental space to be able to
Well, not no
answer
one, but
those
you
questions.
know what I'm
Some
saying.
people don't
You know
do
what
the
I
work
meant.
because some people don't know how to do
Or
the
they don't
work.
know where to
also-
start.
You have to
Yeah.
be like self-aware to even ask
Yeah.
yourself these questions or trying to figure out what it is about you that puts you in certain situations or what makes you feel this way. And sometimes you don't even know how to get to that point unless you talk to someone else, a professional. Some people don't know how to do this work by themselves.
Exactly. But you think that that was a thing forever?
It has nothing to do with being a thing forever. It's the fact that we have the opportunity to do it, and we have.
It's available
It's the
to
facts
us
available.
today.
I think we're missing the point. The point
don't
is not the opportunity. The point is, when did it have to become a necessity? When did it become such a dominant factor in majority of people? And when we have to look at where did it start? Like everybody wants to go forward, but you have to actually go backward to really get the solution. Because if backwards had the solution where it didn't really exist or wasn't really necessary,
And it was good back then. You think? I'm sorry to cut you off.
I'm
You have to remember, we're all looking to like make our lives longer and better.
it's been the same. Listen, that's also another myth. We're not going to get into that, but people have been living the same lifespan for the last 300 years. Like,
But we're also getting more and more and more into violence as a society.
we've always been
I
violent.
didn't
as a
say we
society.
weren't. We're just getting more and more and more and deeper and deeper and deeper into men's suicide rates is going extremely high.
Kids.
So why not take advantage of what you can maybe steer?
Well,
You don't have to agree with it, but you just have to
maybe
understand
if
that
we
people
look
aren't
at-
wrong for doing it.
No, it's not about being wrong for doing it. Nobody said that you're wrong from doing it. What I'm saying is that society is wrong for making it something that's a necessity.
I think you should
the
try
men-
it.
Maybe the men
I
that
honestly think that
maybe the
Rico
men-
himself would
Need-
benefit a
maybe
lot.
the men that need it.
Yeah.
He's
Like,
closed-minded
I
to
think
it. So
And the thing is going to happen is this, and it's not going to come full circle because unfortunately people are living in the moment to a point where they can't even see what's ahead. And what's going to happen is everything's going to come back in full circle where majority of us, hopefully everybody does therapy that needs therapy now. And you know what they can do? They can teach their kids how to do the self-work. So then the kids don't need therapy. Now the problem is we've gotten so far from teaching each other. And now because we can't even teach ourselves, we can't teach our youth. And then our youth is the ones that are at the point where everybody needs therapy. I don't think that it's a thing. Now, if you also look at environmental factors and you're talking about men being higher on the suicide rate, well, if you look at the average salary increase to the cost of living increase, and we go from 1970s, then you're gonna look at men have to be providers. Well, guess what? Their increase in the last 50 years is only about 10 to 20%, but the cost of living is up 2,000%. So how the hell do you expect not to feel like you're worthless?
but what do you do with that though?
But what I'm saying is you have to really look at the factors that are all making people stressed, right? It's not just the simple fact that you have something wrong with you inside. It's like, no, the society that I'm living in and actively trying to flourish in is really not flourishable. It's not made for majority of people to succeed. And that's the truth. And you will drive yourself crazy comparing yourselves to those that did make it, or drive yourself crazy trying to make it just because they told you that you can be whatever you want. And I think that's the reality aspect that people don't take into consideration. I do think your case is different because your case is a personal issue within the parents, which there is no real factor but your own experience. That is entirely different. You know what I'm saying? Those situations, I do think that sometimes we do need somebody to help us because you do tend to bury things.
So basically, which what I'm getting from what you're saying, you're not saying, because in one breath you're saying therapy doesn't work, like you people don't need therapy. So basically it depends on the person. Some people are more mentally strong that they don't need that therapy. They could work those things out. They can give themselves self-helps and they can do all of that. But there are some people that just are not mentally strong enough to sustain and be able to get past whatever their trauma and things are. Also, yeah, like
Okay, so
but there's some people that do need. So you're not
What is
saying
that
nobody
last
needs
word
therapy.
saying?
Just you
I'm
just
saying
feel that not everybody doesn't
yes,
need it.
and then when
Which
we push that narrative, that's when
I agree with that. Like
can
not
read it now.
everyone needs it. I was not mentally strong enough to be able to. I tried since the age of 16 with a kid. Like it was just too much for me. I never had a chance to think about my needs mentally, physically, emotionally, because from the age of 16, I had a whole other human I had to worry about and do that for. So in my case, I needed it. In your case, you're fucking pot. You good, my man. You mentally strong. You got this shit.
Why'd you just kind of
No, I'm just saying you don't
Because you
need
need
that
that.
shit. You know what
Oh
I'm
my
saying?
goodness
At him
gracious.
again.
You know?